Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of How to Never Forget English Words. I'm Zoya, your English teacher, and today's episode is all about ensuring that the words you learn today stick with you forever. Have you ever found yourself struggling to recall a word you just learned? That happens to many learners. Today, I'm going to share with you some effective methods that will help you retain words long-term. This isn't just about memorizing words. It's about making them a part of your vocabulary for good. Also, I have important and effective tips about how to never forget English words. Make sure you're comfortable. Maybe grab a pen and paper and let's get started. Let's start with understanding how memory works in this process of learning English. Memory is divided into short-term and long-term stores. When you first encounter a new word, it's stored temporarily in short-term memory, and it often fades quickly unless reinforced. For words to move into long-term memory, you need to reinforce them by using them repeatedly in various contexts. This is where repetition comes into play. The more you expose yourself to the word, and the more you practice it in different forms, the more likely it is to stick. When you memorize vocabulary in isolation, your brain doesn't create the necessary neural connections to retain it. However, when you learn words in context, such as through stories or sentences, your brain makes better, stronger associations, helping you remember them long-term. The key is to transform that short-term memory into lasting knowledge. One of the most effective methods for remembering English words is creating associations. This technique allows you to link new words to things that you already know. For instance, let's take the word serene. Imagine the calmest place you've ever been, perhaps a peaceful lake or a quiet park. By visualizing this image while you repeat the word, your brain creates a stronger connection between the word and its meaning. You can also use associations based on sound or similarity. For example, the word serenity might remind you of serene, making the two words easier to remember together. You can even connect words to other languages or cultural concepts you're familiar with, which will help you remember the words more easily. One of the most important aspects of learning a word is understanding its context. When you learn new vocabulary in a sentence, it helps you remember not only the word, but also how it's used in real situations. For example, instead of just memorizing the word delightful, try using it in context like, "The sunset was absolutely delightful." This makes the word more meaningful because it is linked to an actual experience. Moreover, hearing words used in context helps you understand their connotations and nuances. For example, you wouldn't use delightful in a sad context. By using the word in the right context, you reinforce its correct usage, which also strengthens your memory of it. Try this. Each time you learn a word, create a sentence or story with it. Words only stay in your memory if you use them actively. If you've just learned a new word but don't use it, chances are you'll forget it. The best way to retain new vocabulary is by engaging with it. Speak, write, and think in English daily. For example, if you've just learned the word meticulous, try using it in a conversation or writing a short story with it. Don't just think the word in your head. Say it out loud, write it down, and use it in context. You can also try journaling in English. Writing every day forces you to use new vocabulary, and the more you use the word, the better you'll remember it. And don't forget, the key to fluency is consistent practice. Let's talk about repetition. Repetition is key to remembering any new word. However, simply repeating a word multiple times in one sitting doesn't work. To really ingrain a word into your memory, you need to use spaced repetition. Spaced repetition involves reviewing a word after a period of time, after 1 hour, 1 day, 3 days, and then 1 week. This method prevents forgetting and helps move the word from short-term to long-term memory. There are apps like Anki and Quizlet that are designed to help with spaced repetition. These apps use algorithms that will remind you to review words at the right time to ensure you remember them. It's a great way to turn vocabulary learning into a regular habit. Multisensory learning can help make words stick in your brain. The more senses you involve in the learning process, the more likely you are to remember what you've learned. For instance, when learning new words, say them out loud so that you can hear them, write them down so you can see them, and use your body to act out the word if possible. For example, if you're learning the word joyous, try to say it with excitement and a smile. Your emotions will help you remember it better. This technique works because it engages multiple parts of your brain at once. It's more effective than just passively reading a word or hearing it. So, next time you learn a new word, try saying it, writing it, and even acting it out. Learning words in families is a great way to expand your vocabulary. Word families are groups of words that are related through a common root. For example, the word create has several forms: creation, creative, creativity, and creator. By learning related words together, you strengthen your understanding of how words are formed, which makes it easier to remember them. When you learn a new word, try to identify other words in the same family and add them to your vocabulary list. This will help you recall not just one word, but several words related to it. Emotion plays a critical role in memory retention. Words that evoke strong emotional reactions are far easier to remember than neutral words. Think about the words you remember most. Chances are they're tied to an emotional experience. Perhaps you remember the word ecstatic because you felt that way on your birthday, or melancholy because it reminds you of a sad movie scene. So, next time you learn a new word, try to associate it with a strong feeling. You could also make learning more fun by creating stories, jokes, or images that make you laugh or feel something. This emotional connection will help you remember the words more effectively. Setting clear goals for your vocabulary learning can make a big difference. Having a target to aim for motivates you and keeps you on track. For instance, you might aim to learn 10 new words each week. Track your progress by reviewing your words regularly and testing yourself. You could keep a word journal or use an app to create a personalized study plan. When you hit a milestone, like learning 100 new words, celebrate your achievement. This reinforces your commitment to learning and builds positive momentum. Immersing yourself in English media, whether through movies, TV shows, songs, or podcasts, is one of the most enjoyable and effective ways to learn new words. The key is to actively engage with the content, not just passively watch. As you watch, listen for new words. Pause the video or audio when you hear a word you don't know and look it up. Then, Try to use that word in your own sentences or conversations. This method also helps you learn colloquial expressions and slang, which are an essential part of language fluency. Try watching an English movie once without subtitles and again with them to catch more words. Tracking your progress is crucial when it comes to learning new vocabulary. It helps you stay motivated and ensures that you're consistently reinforcing what you've learned. Let's talk about some effective tracking techniques that will make a huge difference in your vocabulary retention. First, start a vocabulary journal. Each time you learn a new word, write it down in a dedicated notebook or digital document. Include the word, its meaning, and a sentence using the word. You can also note the day you learned it. This will serve as a useful reference guide as you review. Another great tool is using a vocabulary spreadsheet. You can create a simple spreadsheet with columns for the word, its definition, the date you learned it, and any related words you've encountered. The benefit of this method is that it allows you to easily organize your words and track your learning progress over time. For a more interactive approach, try using flashcard apps like Anki or Quizlet. These apps use spaced repetition algorithms to help you review words at the right intervals. This helps solidify them in your long-term memory. You can make your own flashcards or find pre-made decks that align with your learning goals. A fun and even more visual method is creating a word wall or word cloud. This could be a poster or a digital collection of all the words you've learned, organized by theme or difficulty. Seeing your words laid out in front of you provides a sense of accomplishment and encourages regular revision. Finally, make sure to set learning goals to keep yourself motivated. For example, challenge yourself to learn 10 new words each week. At the end of the week, review the words you've learned and assess your recall. Celebrate your progress by rewarding yourself. Maybe you could treat yourself to something special after hitting a vocabulary milestone. This adds an element of fun to your learning process and helps keep you on track. Thank you so much for joining me today on how to never forget English words. Let's quickly recap what we've learned. Understanding memory and the importance of repetition. Creating associations and using words in context. Engaging with the language through multi-sensory techniques. Setting realistic vocabulary goals and learning through media. Now it's your turn. I challenge you to pick a few of these methods and start applying them. Practice regularly, and soon you'll find that words stay in your memory longer than ever before. See you in the next episode. Keep practicing and have a wonderful day. Here are some quick and actionable tips for tracking vocabulary retention effectively. Tracking tips for never forgetting English words. 1. Use a vocabulary journal. Write down each new word you learn, its meaning, and use it in a sentence. Revisit your journal regularly to review and reinforce what you've learned. 2. Create a vocabulary spreadsheet. Set up a simple spreadsheet with columns for the word, definition, context, sentence, and the date you learned it. This visual record helps track progress and review past words easily. 3. Leverage flashcard apps. Use apps like Anki or Quizlet to create flashcards. These apps utilize spaced repetition, reminding you to review words at optimal times for long-term retention. 4th set learning milestones. Aim for a specific goal, such as learning 10 new words a week. Tracking your goals helps you stay motivated and provides a clear measure of progress. 5. Review weekly. At the end of each week, set aside time to review all the words you've learned. The repetition will help you retain them for the long term. 6. Create a word wall. Visualize your vocabulary by posting the words around your home or workspace. This constant visual exposure helps reinforce words through passive learning. 7. Use a word map. For each word, create a word map, noting synonyms, antonyms, and related phrases. This will deepen your understanding of the word and make it easier to recall. 8. Track your speaking and writing. Incorporate your new vocabulary in speaking and writing exercises. By using the words in context, you're actively reinforcing them. 9. Reward your progress. Celebrate milestones. If you reach your vocabulary goal for the week, treat yourself with something small. This keeps you motivated and makes learning fun. 10. Stay consistent. Track your words every day, even if it's just for a few minutes. Consistency is key to retaining new vocabulary over time. By following these tips, you'll ensure that the English words you learn stay in your long-term memory and are readily available when you need them. Keep tracking and happy learning. Advanced Vocabulary Tracking Tips 11. The Daily Word Challenge. Pick one new word each day and challenge yourself to use it at least 5 times in conversation, writing, or even in social media posts. The more you use it, the stronger your memory. 12. Create a personalized dictionary. Instead of relying on generic word lists, create your own digital or physical dictionary. Organize words by theme, difficulty, or frequency of use. 13. Record yourself speaking every week. Record a short audio or video using all the words you've learned. Listening to yourself reinforces memory and improves pronunciation. 14. Use sticky notes. Write new words on sticky notes and place them in visible locations: your mirror, fridge, laptop, or phone case. Seeing them throughout the day helps reinforce learning. 15. Associate words with real-life situations. Instead of memorizing words randomly, connect them to events in your daily life. For example, if you learn the word serene, recall a peaceful moment in your life and associate the word with that memory. 16. Use words in different forms. If you learn the word excite, make sure to use its variations: exciting, excited, excitement. Learning words in families strengthens retention. 17. Create your own mnemonics. Make up fun and silly associations for words. For instance, to remember the word gregarious, which means sociable, think of Greg always going to parties. The crazier the mnemonic, the more memorable it will be. 18. Read and highlight new words. When reading a book, article, or blog, highlight or underline unfamiliar words. Later, add them to your vocabulary list and make sentences using them. 19. Join an online vocabulary group. Engage with a community of learners who share new words daily. Apps like Discord, Reddit, or WhatsApp groups can help you track progress while learning from others. 20. Turn words into a game. Make learning interactive by playing word-based games like Scrabble, crossword puzzles, or apps like Wordle. This keeps vocabulary learning fun and engaging. By integrating these tips into your daily routine, you'll find that learning and retaining new English words becomes easier and more enjoyable.